Hello and welcome. My name is Vex. This is another episode of the Friday Leaks from Godforge. Fateless has been gracious enough to give us another round of leaks. They've done this every Friday so far since the first week of September. This week, it's pretty juicy. We saw a little bit of this in the video on Wednesday, the massive drop. It was like a 20-minute video that Simon put out about a bunch of new stuff, including a new boss, and I guess maybe the dragon boss. Maybe it was two bosses, the Sphinx and the dragon. Anyway, this is a focus on Merlin. So I had sort of theorized that while they were designing Merlin's look, they were definitely looking at some druid transmog from World of Warcraft. And these leaks have kind of only confirmed my suspicions, all but confirmed my suspicions on what's going on with Merlin. I'm curious to see the Freya one. I don't think this specifically references World of Warcraft, but the Freya one, I 100% will. Anyway, so here's the first image. We did see this on the video. This is, I don't know very much about Merlin. I know that he's sort of like the guide for Arthur, King Arthur, but I don't know like sort of what mystical powers he contains. But from reading through some of this, it seems like he's definitely more of like a sort of fey being, almost like a Gandalf type, where he's not like really a person, right? He's a spirit. He's something else, something a little bit bigger. I really love the sort of old mage look that they've got going on. I think his beard looks really cool, and I love his colors, dude. It's just like all purple, and that's right for me. Oh, wrong way. Okay. Oh, his staff with the little toad on it. Oh my god, that's so cute. He's got heterochromia, so we can reflect in a subtle way that he was the son of an incubus and a human woman. Interesting. So he's like a tiefling almost from D&D. I really think with the like feathers on his shoulders, he's just a druid. That's fantastic. Okay, we've got more line art. They had done like a line art coloring contest. It might even still be going on. There was some line art for like a dragon in the Fateless Discord, and everybody was like submitting different, coloring book style drawings of it. It's pretty cool. In this one, the toad looks like it looks, I don't know, looks pretty zonked out of its fucking gourd. In this one, I don't know if I could zoom in on that. Oh yeah, it but in this one, it looks kind of either content or like a little bit evil. No, maybe not evil, but like magical. I don't know. This one's just... he's toasted. Anyway. Anyway. Oh, yeah. So, I'm curious to see what they plan on doing with this, because this was interesting. So, a bunch of these images are of Merlin with the like purpley blue, but clearly they tried out other colors. And it's not even just the colors are different, but like the foliage around his shoulders is different. So clearly, this is concept art or whatever. He's got like vines on his arms instead of like sleeves. I'm curious to know if this could be a skin. Maybe it's maybe it changes with the seasons, kind of like the one mount in World of Warcraft. Or maybe when you get Merlin, you get one of the various Merlins that exist, and you can get skins for the others or whatever. I think it'd be really cool. And I'm hopeful that Fateless and Godforge will have a lot of cosmetics. Oh, here we've got some, I guess this is like AI concept art. They had just released, I think yesterday, a podcast where they're talking to I'm sorry, I can't remember the name. I didn't watch much of it because I wanted to talk about it on stream. But they were interviewing a game company who has just released or is planning to release some game. I saw some dinosaurs and things like that. But the big thing, I saw a chunk of the timeline said like working with AI. And I'm really interested to see what that is, and I think maybe next week I might do a bigger react video to some of that podcast because I'm interested in that. I've voiced my opinions on that, especially in the game developing world before, so I'm not going to rehash things. I mean, I was I was infamously featured in a Philip DeFranco video for my opinions on AI, especially in gaming. So we don't need to go in that here, but it's interesting, and I had seen this before in a couple of concept art videos that Simon had put out. That they use it for concept art, and they use it for like general ideas, see what's cool, what's not cool, and then they move on to people for like this sort of concept art, which I think is a good workflow. Okay, so I think this is the last one. So we've got a lot of things going on. Okay, so this looks like a blurb from Wikipedia, which is only like slightly concerning almost. Like they've got the claim of there's going to be like 200 or 250 characters that are going to come out on launch across 10 factions in Godforge. But some of them are going to be just like Jackal or Crusader, or they're just going to be like random nobodies. They're not actually gods, myths, and legends. But a majority of them are going to be like real people in gods, myths, and legends. But people with like backstories and lore, and like especially when you reach into sort of religious things, you might need to be careful about how you represent, right? And I'm sure that they have this sort of, in the back of their mind. But I'm curious to know how deep their understanding from a developer side, from a story side, is on certain characters. Like any one of the characters that they've showcased, like Zeus or Odin or Hercules or whatever, has tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of resources and literature and things to read about. And I don't know if they have the time to really deep dive into these characters. So my hope is that they're not just surface level, hey, we went to Wikipedia and found a list of names and we're making these characters based off of Wikipedia. I'm sure that they're not, but it is in the back of my head, like, how much time are they devoting to each character and learning about them for specifically visuals and whatever background they might give in game. But anyway, it says through his ability to change shape, he may appear as a wild man figure evoking that of his prototype Mirrodin. Oh, is that Vilt? I don't know how to say that. As a civilized man of any age, including as a very young child, or even as a talking animal, his guise can be highly deformed and animalistic, even when Merlin is presenting as a human or humanoid being. Face, vibe, inspiration, Merlin in other games. This is, oh man, I forget what this is from. I don't recognize these. Merlin in other games. Sort of general old guy. They didn't put Merlin from Shrek. Was he in Shrek? Pretty sure he was in Shrek. Details, weapon details, polishing level. Whoa! He gets a horse? His spectral horse? Is this, are we introducing loot cards? To Fateless? Or to Godforge? What's happening? Scratch off cards. I really like this, the references here. This looks like an outfit I'd wear to the Ren Fair. Heck yeah. Well, we've got mage archetypes, others. Eve project. I don't know what that is. I'm trying to see if there's anything I recognize. I think this is more... Oh, this is Diablo. Diablo 4. Concept art. Interesting. Maybe this is like child Merlin. Ooh, I like the big bird. I don't know what that is, but I like it. I think I did see yeah, I see some stuff I do recognize, like Elden Ring. This is the one boss in the library that has all the students that are on the ground, and it goes into a phase 2, like you're in this like moonlight area. We've got 2 raid characters, Podrick and Beauregard. I don't know who this dwarf is. This is this Moog from Elden Ring as well? They clearly have you know, landed the vibe that they were going for. Yeah, they've definitely taken, you know, all the inspiration and all the direction, and I think lined it up pretty well. I am super interested in other versions of Odin or Merlin, though. If they've got from the beginning the idea of, hey, Merlin can be anything, why not make him anything? Why not make him deformed? Like, have a skin or cosmetic that you earn by playing him a certain amount or doing achievements with him or whatever. Or, you know, buy it or whatever, where it like literally changes his model. Like he becomes this like extra tall human that's like deformed with like one super long arm, and I don't know, like almost like what do they call it, the withered or whatever from Suramar in World of Warcraft, the like the elves that were addicted to magic but had been cut off from magic, so they just sort of like became these lanky, bony elf creatures that were just like so far removed from regular elves. I think they could do a lot with the different version, and it doesn't even need to be, you know, it's not something that's just a simple recolor, right? It's going to be a total redo, but I think the skins, at least for this character, could be potentially pretty good. Interesting. Oh yeah, I think this one wasn't as juicy as still like the faction one from a couple weeks ago. Not as many tidbits we could potentially grab from this, especially because they specifically didn't put any Godforge concept art in the vibes that they're trying to match, like with other, you know, they're obviously going to put in things on characters that make them match within the faction that they're in, and clearly this is part of the Avalon faction, the same as like King Arthur and whatnot. But I think this is really good. I definitely want to see more like fleshed out like this, where we get to see the concept art, we get to see the process through line art and like different variations of every character, but who knows if we'll get that. Anyway, next week we'll talk about the podcast, and we'll probably do a deeper dive into the video that came out on Wednesday, the big sort of news drop. We saw a bunch of we saw a new faction, the final of the 10th factions. We saw a couple of locations. We saw a couple of bosses. We saw Merlin. I'm sure there's... Oh, we saw animations and things like that. There's definitely a bunch that I want to talk about that I didn't want to like sort of bog down that video with. I also don't want to bog down this video with because I'm already rambling. But anyway, be on the lookout for that next week. So yeah, if you liked it, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.